So when did this all begin?
It all began when I decided to take up Year 11 biology lab, where we consensually got our parents and like grandparents' DNA just to do some genetics tests. And my recessive genes weren't adding up as they should be. And I asked my teacher about this, and she said, no, that's completely unusual.
So what you just saw was a snippet of my group's turning point exercise. I say it was quite enjoyable coming up with the story and working with a new group. It came to thinking about the shots for the interview. It was quite smooth sailing. I was the director, and so with the camera operator and I had to communicate with each other the most about what angles would be like, how the lighting was, and when to stop recording. We worked and thought of on top of our heads pretty quickly, and everyone was accommodating to each other's ideas and concerns. The lighting in the room that we were in gave off quite a slight blue tint, even though we tried fixing it, but we thought it went quite well with the theme of the story that we were telling, so we just went along with it. For my upcoming interview project, I would prefer to use a tripod than to handheld the camera so that the shots are more stable. We had to handheld our camera because number one, the tripod that we took was not meant for our camera, and number two, easier to maneuver around. An idea that I found useful for filming for the next interview from Michael Rajaver's conducting and shooting interviews was what he said about preparing the interviewees and being able to say what you want and establishing the general areas of what you want to cover in your interview and what you don't. About the direction that you want the interview to go in. It helps the interviewees have more ease when it comes to answering your questions and letting them naturally say what comes to their mind instead of sounding like you're unsure of your topic. That will imply to the interviewee that you're not confident about your subject and might make them second guess what they talk about as well. Another idea that I found to be quite helpful in the article would be on how to conclude your interviews. In the article, it states that while the camera is still running, we can ask the interviewee if there's anything else they would like to add. And once the cameras are cut, then we thank the participants and briefly appreciate whoever was successful about the change. Is that when I end my interviews, usually abruptly stop or very awkwardly concluded where the interviewee says their last sentence and they just give the signal that they're done, and we just cut or laugh right after the response.